'cause I know what you don't. It is me you adore. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up. How sad. Oh boy, got so hot I forgot what I should have thought of before. Sure ain't easy for you to let off the rules, 'cause there's so much fun. Are you loving the feeling it? Push me, are you in it? Don't see what you're seeing, but typical. Messing around with it, mix it up, go with it, fuck with it, flow with it, please let it go. Oh no, babe, I did it again. I said a few things that I shouldn't have done. Well, bittersweet melody when I dance on your floor, 'cause I know what you don't. It is me you adore. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up. How sad. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up. Now come alive with me and quit the jealousy. I know you're bored, I know it's boring me. Now come alive, baby, get out the grave with me. I know you're bored. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up. How sad. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up. How sad.
Oh darling, if I had bought you flowers, would you still be here by my side? Yeah, I thought this moment could be ours, while I'm walking on you through the night. You can break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart. You should fucking stay with him. You should fucking stay with him. Darling, if I had bought you flowers, what if you stayed at home the night? Yeah, I've been lonely counting hours while I'm getting blinded by the light. You can break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart. You should fucking stay with him.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to TTML. We are here for Division 1 action. It is round number 5 of the championship as we take in the Austrian Grand Prix from the Red Bull Ring. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream, as always, as your lead commentator. And joining me in the commentary box is my co-commentator. It's Mr. Luke Etheridge. Luke, how you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Good evening to yourself, James. Good evening to everybody that is watching this evening. I'm really looking forward to the Austrian Grand Prix. I can't remember ever commentating on a bad race around this circuit. And judging by the 4 races we've had so far this season, I can't see a reason why tonight would be any different.
Tonight is not going to be any different, I think. And if you didn't tune into Azerbaijan last week, we had a bit of a shock winner in Dotamo getting the win in the Racing Point. Papetum in second and Bullet Boy in third. What did that do to the championship standings, I hear you ask as well? Well, Papetum leads because of Medium Pilot's non-attendance last week. He leads on 96 points, with Medium Pilot in second on 70. Bullet Boy in third after another cracking result from him in third on 69. Amazing Arrow in fourth on 56. Matthias in fifth on 50. Later just a point behind in sixth on 49. Volbeek in seventh on 47. Noon in eighth on 38. Verstappen in ninth on 36. And Mashivo in 10th on 35 points. Looking down the rest of the field as well, we have Koen Bly and Dotamo tied on 30 points. Schaffelelli in 13th on 26. Combi in 14th on 23. Imadi in 15th on 18. He's not racing tonight. F1 Dobby and Carlsbury tied for 16th on 16. Venom in 18th on 15. Venoms in 19th on 14. And Hardy in 20th on 13 points. And Ferrari leading the constructors as well. But Papetum got a 26-point lead coming into tonight over Medium Pilot. Medium Pilot has got to try and be his ever-consistent self to even get to Papetum, I think.
Yeah, Papetum definitely doesn't look like he's making any mistakes at this moment in time. It's been a really consistent start to the season, picking up a lot of bonus points as well with the 3 pole positions that he's had so far. So that's 6 extra points. It's amazing to think that he actually hasn't won a race yet, and that's just been penalties that has cost him. Last time out, Dotamo just about holding on to it on the line. I think in the end there was about 0.2 of a second separating the top 3, with Bullet Boy coming home in third position. And Medium Pilot has been the only other person who's been able to get even close to the consistency of Papetum so far this season. We've seen glimpses of fantastic driving from others. Obviously, we've had the race winners. Amazing Hour did a fantastic job in Australia. Looks like he's coming back into a best form with a pole position in Azerbaijan. Dotamo as a reserve, probably not going to be here often enough to really affect the championship. And Bullet Boy started showing some form. Papetum doesn't look like he is going to step up, though, at any point so far this season. And Medium Pilot, you've got to say, probably going to be the only driver who's really going to match that consistency. But can't afford to miss another race, I don't think. Definitely can't afford any mistakes.
Definitely can't afford any mistakes indeed. And Medium Pilot, of course, as I say, 26 points behind coming into tonight. And Papetum, it's a bit like last season, to be honest, where they were to and fro in the terms of the championship lead. Papetum had won a race lead one time, and then Medium Pilot came back and won 2 races on the trot last season, and then it all swung like a pendulum. So it's going to be fascinating, I think, to see how that is all going to unfold. Ferrari leading the constructors' standings as well on 112 coming into tonight. McLaren in second on 96. They announced their car for 2021 last night. Not much change. They're still papayed. Red Bull in third on 88. Haas in fourth on 85. Racing Point and Williams tied for fifth on 82. Alfa Romeo in seventh on 66. AlphaTauri in eighth on 47. Renault in ninth on 33. And Mercedes in 10th on 24. And Ferrari have really got a foothold, I think, on the Constructors' Championship so far. Are they going to keep that consistency around a track like Austria?
I think tonight's probably one, on paper, you wouldn't expect to see a lot of mistakes around Austria. It's probably the simplest layout for a Formula 1 circuit around at this moment in time. According to the FIA, it's 10 corners. You can definitely make arguments for 2, maybe even 3 of them not really being proper challenging corners, just easy, flat-out bursts. I think they'll have a good race tonight. We know Papetum's going to do well. Carlsbury has shown decent pace on occasion. It's just not been able to come forward to a top 10 finish. Further down the order, I still think McLaren are looking really good. Last week, probably the weakest race they've had so far, with Later finishing 7th and Volbeek retiring. But apart from that, they've been very consistent. In fact, that retirement from Volbeek, but only non-scoring finish for McLaren so far this season. So they're definitely going to put the pressure on Ferrari. It's still early days in the championship. We're not even at the halfway point yet. So who knows what could change over the next few races.
Yeah, we will be, of course, at the halfway point after. Medium Parlour has now joined. Lando's having a bit of a fit, I think, with the session starting at the top. Now, though, the countdown has begun. Less than 30 seconds to start until we get on-track action underway. Luke, I'm going to come to you. What can we expect in qualifying?
The closest grid all season. We're talking 62-second lap times around here, and we've seen how close it could be. We could easily end up with top 4, top 5 drivers separated by less than a tenth of a second. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I will not be surprised either. Every single qualifying that I've done around here really is so close, and you're going to be in for an absolute treat. So with that all being said, good luck to all of the drivers. Good luck to you guys who are watching the action at home. Hopefully we can keep up with you. It is now time, though, for qualifying. Welcome along to TTML Division 1. We are here tonight for round 5 of the championship in Spielberg in Austria around the Red Bull Ring. Fascinating track to behold, of course, and there's 3 compounder tyres available to the guys out on track. There's the C2, C3 and C4. C2 being the hards, C3 being the mediums and C4 being the soft compound of tyre. As always, I'm James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream. Luke Etheridge alongside me in the commentary box in a sultry, very hot commentary box, as now we take in 4.3 kilometres of the circuit with 10 turns officially, with 3 DRS zones. 1 down towards turn 1, 1 up towards Remus at turn 3, and then 1 on the downhill run towards turn 4. And those are the opportunities really for overtaking out on track. And Mika Hakkinen, the likes have obviously secured 2 wins in joint in real life. Whoever will win tonight will go down in history as possibly being the first sprinter, certainly in TTML this season in Austria. As now we come, beautiful blue skies and sunshine, and it's going to be a fascinating night's worth of action as we're going to get the first cars out on track very soon indeed, as that is a AlphaTauri coming out first of Recon.
Yeah, I'm sure other drivers will be happy to have seen the sun around here. Obviously, the Austrian Grand Prix last season was dry. The Styrian Grand Prix qualifying was quite wet, I think it was fair to say, and we saw some fantastic driving there. They'll all be happy about it being dry at the moment. We don't know whether it'll stay that way in the race, and this is actually quite a tricky circuit in the wet. I might have said it's a fairly simple circuit to go around, but as you can see, as you've seen from the track map and from a lot of DRS zones, and as you'll know if you've driven around this track, you don't really need a lot of downforce. It's only that little bit in the middle sector where you need some downforce through 6, 7 and 8. So they'll be running quite low downforce setups, and in the wet, that's where you tend to struggle a bit more. So it's dry for now. Qualifying is going to be crucial around here, just so you don't get stuck in them DRS trains.
Yeah, it is going to be fascinating. Of course, Recon didn't really have a good performance last time out in Azerbaijan, but a former TTL F1 champion, he is the man that we're going to go and ride on board with right now, as he now comes down in towards turn 9 and then through turn 10, prepares up for the lap. 62 seconds around here, as you said, Luke, just before we came into qualifying, and now we're going to see this now put to absolute fruition as he now comes up towards turn 1. With the sun very difficult in the driver's eye, runs wide through turn 1, but very nicely through there as he now comes up towards the King at turn 2 and through turn 3. You can see on the steering wheel already 320 kilometres an hour reached, up in excess of 180, running up the hill in towards turn 3 at Remus, and now runs down towards turn 4 and opens up the third DRS zone out on track, running down in towards turn 4. And the Dutchman on a really good lap, 15.744 through the first sector, and he is on a set of soft compounder tyres within the hot lap mode, of course, as now Recon comes through turn 4. And then up towards turns 5 and 6. Very, very good to try and go around the outside here. I've seen it plenty of times before, but now Recon runs down into the middle sector split. And the middle sector looking quite quick, of a 27.9. However, I think he's just invalidated. He ran wide there through turn 8.
Yeah, I think, just by my track map I've got up, I don't know if he has invalidated or whether he was just not happy with that. He looks like he might be trying to go a game. That's the advantage of being such a short circuit, of course. You can't afford to have multiple laps around here. Recon did do a 105.020. That's more like it from his teammate Machero, 102.687. Machero's been really impressive on occasions this season. He's shown some good pace, has got that podium from the Spanish Grand Prix. We'll see if he can do well with his teammate tonight, who of course, Recon, not even in the top 20 in the championship at the moment, which is very surprising.
Very surprising indeed. Even more surprising, Medium Parts just gone fourth with a 102.8, 0.2 of a second off the time of Mashiro early on. Carsbury is on a lap coming across the line. He goes 6th with a 103 flat. And you said, Luke, how close it would be in qualifying. Look at how close it is. As Laser comes across the line, a 103.7. Not representative so far because he's on a set of medium compounded tyres. As that, Verstappen, an amazing hour there, going 3rd, I think, as well, with a good lap. Lando's running down the hill. Volbeek as well running down the hill. And Schiaparelli running up in towards turn 3. Who's furthest on a lap? It is Lando, I think, who is furthest on with Volbeek. Volbeek is furthest on as he now comes through the end of the middle sector. This middle sector not looking too bad. It's a 28 flat, 15.6 through the first sector. Really matches up, and now Volbeek comes up in towards turns 9 and then through turn 10 towards, of course, the corner known as, I'll tell you quickly, the Red Bull Mobile corner as he now comes through and goes quickest. 102.4 from Volbeek, and that was a spinner coming out the final corner. Was that one of the Alfa Romeos?
Yes, I think it was Verstappen facing the wrong way at the final corner, so he'll be able to get back no problems at all. I was on board with Volbeek earlier on, and as you can probably tell, it's quite busy on track around here. With 18 drivers, every driver's going to have about 3.5 seconds space to themselves. You'll definitely be able to get a slipstream, but you might end up accidentally getting in the way of someone else if you're not careful, so traffic management is crucial.
Traffic management is indeed crucial. I think Schiaparelli is invalidated. His lap is now coming up the hill in towards turn 3. Zerdimer is on a lap time as well. Reserve, of course, here in Division 1. Let's see what the Mercedes man can do. Of course, sponsored by Team Ineos. Got there in the end as he now comes through turns 9 and through turn 10, and now the Dutchman coming out of turn 10. What's his lap time going to be from Zerdimer? Comes across the line and he goes 12th with a 103.7, but that is not a representative time from him. He can go a lot quicker than that as Matthias is now coming through turn 7 and now up towards turn 8 and then up towards turn 9 as he looks like he's going to come into the pit entry, and the pit entry is going to be under watch by the stewards. That is a perfect pit entry there demonstrated by Matthias. You do not want to be running over those red and white lines though, otherwise you're going to be getting a slap roast.
Yes, it is quite a tricky pit entry around here. They've been told stick to the right hand side if you're going into the pits and do not cross the solid white line once you've done so to try and head into the pits, otherwise you might get yourself a penalty if it is caught on stream or reported by anyone else. So drivers will have to be careful about that. Bullet Boy's just got up into 5th place on a 102.793. Amazing hour in 4th, so it's looking pretty close at the top at the moment. They're the fastest qualifier this season though, just heading down towards turn 4. Perpetuum, we'll see what he can do on his first run.
Yeah, Perpetuum now on a lap, coming through turn 4, now towards turns 5 and then turn 6. This fast-flowing double left-hander out on track, and this is where we get to see his middle sector split. And this middle sector split actually not looking too bad. It's a 28 flat through the middle sector, so not as quick as Volbeek, but he's going to be there or thereabouts in terms of Dobby and in terms of medium pilot areas where I'm thinking he'll go. As now Perpetuum flies through turn 9 and then through turn 10, and the German runs out wide coming across the final corner and now runs to the line, and it's an invalid lap. He picked up an invalid lap there around the final corner. He just ran too wide. Bullet Boy did that when we rode on board with him for his lap, and he ran as equally as wide as him, but didn't pick up an invalidation. He went 5th. That is literally the talk of the qualifying session so far. Millimetres apart from invalidating your lap.
Yes, and it is the worst possible place to invalidate your lap because the next lap for Perpetuum is invalidated as well. You can see it happen quite often. You get it wrong through the final corner, ruin 2 laps in 1, so he won't be too happy about that. But again, we said short circuit, no worries whatsoever about getting multiple laps in. If you did that around the bus stop at Spa coming out of that final corner, that would be very awkward indeed. I've just seen Lando invalidate straight away coming through turn 1. Track limits could play a key around here. A lot of tarmac runoff area, especially coming out of turn 1, and we've already seen through 9 and 10, just daring the drivers to take a bit more speed and run that little bit wide.
Medium Pilot is on an absolute fly of a lap, 27.9 through the middle sector from Medium Pilot. He now comes through turns 9, then to turn 10. That's how to take turn 10. Is he going to challenge Volbeek? Yes, he does. 102.335. He's a 10.5 seconds quicker than Volbeek, and that is how you respond to your man. No, your nearest rival, Perpetuum, hasn't got a lap in, and Medium Pilot out on top by a 10.5. Mashivo has improved there to go within 500ths of a second, in fact. So Mashivo improves by a 10th dead on and goes 2nd, but Medium Pilot holding the keys to the throne currently, and he's out on top of the 102.3.
Yeah, we'll see how long he is holding those keys for, because amazing how at the moment he had briefly gone purple in Sector 1. It's now Recon that's going fastest in Sector 1. The track's rubbering in. They're starting to find a bit more time around this track. Amazing Hour, only one of 2 drivers to have pole positions this season, with Perpetuum having 3, and the Williams, the Australian, getting pole position last time out at Azerbaijan. Can he head towards the top of the order? Can he get himself another bonus point today? Just runs a bit wide there, coming through turn 8. That's not the way you'd be wanting to go around that corner. Around the final couple of corners, and we'll see what Amazing Hour can do as he heads towards the finish line. What was his time looking like? It's looking like a good improvement from Amazing Hour. In the end, though, only 4th place, so did lose quite a bit of time in that final part of the lap as Recon goes into 3rd on a 1:02.393. AlphaTauri looking very strong tonight.
Yeah, AlphaTauri, the Shazoo boys are really getting those AlphaTauris into play. Medium Polar out on top, Mashivo 2nd, Recon in 3rd. We saw Amazing Hour's lap there as well, halfway through qualifying, and that is the order of play at this moment in time. Carlsbury, I think, has just came off a lap. Kuhn Bly is on a lap time, as we see Lando, I think, go up into 5th there, the 1:02.514. Let's see what Kuhn Bly, though, is doing out on track. Matthias goes up to 7th with a 1:02.6, so good lap time there from the Austrian. Of course, podium sitter 2 races ago. Kuhn now coming across the line, and he goes 4th, 1:02.4. Massive improvement there from Kuhn, as he now goes 4th, and he's only a 1/10 of a second off Medium Polar. That's a really good lap time.
Yeah, sort of a bit out of the blue. He's been a consistent midfielder so far this season, so that is a very good lap from him. Whether he's had any slipstream off, he wouldn't have had a slipstream off his teammate. His teammate's too far ahead of him for that to have been a fact, but whether he's been able to get a bit of an advantage, had a cleaner lap, or whether he's just got a perfect setup around this track, we'll have to wait and see if anyone else can improve in the final 8 minutes. Medium Pilot's time, though, looking very good at the moment. We said he needed a strong race tonight. Looks like he's delivering.
500ths of a second, just to talk about that gap in a bit more detail. Medium Polar now on an outlap, but 500ths of a second, just how hard is it to try and find 500ths of a second around here?
I mean, I could definitely tell you how to lose 500ths of a second. I can tell you how to lose about 5 seconds around most racetracks, to be honest. It is very tough. We're talking about maybe braking a metre later and just getting it absolutely right on the apex. What we're not talking about is on an outlap, ruining your rear tyres like that and sliding around. Maybe just need if you didn't have any temperature in them, they're definitely a bit hotter now than they were. But yes, it's tough at every single track. You've got to nail every apex. We've seen already the difference with the track limits. Bullet Boy getting it absolutely millimetre perfect. Perpetuum just a bit over. How easy it is to end up ruining your laps. The track's going to change, obviously. It could well be one of those with how close the grid is. If your last car across the line, you might just get lucky.
Yeah, Perpetuum's on a good lap here, 28 flat as well, as he now comes up towards turn 9 and 10. He doesn't choose to go around the white line there, coming through turn 9 to try and maximise the effort in, but that is why he nearly invalidates, I think, coming out the final corner, comes across the line. He goes 7th, though, with the 1:02.577, immediately beaten by Bullet Boy, who just joins up into 6th position on a 1:02.514. Top 16 separated by less than a second around here currently. Laser is improving as well. He's just got onto a lap, I think, coming through turn 1. And from a set of mediums, he's now onto a set of soft compounded tyre. And I would imagine you can find anywhere, possibly on this lap, between 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, you're probably not as much in time-wise as other circuits, obviously because it's such a short track. It is what's known as a rear limited circuit, especially when you're coming out of turns 3 and turn 4. You are really spinning up those rear tyres, and there's not the high-speed corners as some of the others. Should still be a very straightforward one-stop race for the drivers. The alternate strategy can work pretty well around here if you don't get caught up in a DRS train, and at the moment it looks like Matthias and Verstappen are going to be some of the drivers to benefit. You said it was, I think, top 16 separated by a second. It's now a top 14 separated by less than half a second. It is so close at the moment. Laser's improving as well, so don't be surprised if he gets himself further up the order, and as I say that, he invalidates. Yeah,
invalidates coming out of turn 9 there, I think. So Laser, unfortunately, invalidating on his lap time. Just to put it into perspective, with that invalid lap, a 1:04 flat that would have been from Laser, and it still would have put him in 17th position. Medium Pilot then is on another lap, out on track. Let's see what the Racing Point can do through the first sector. 15.624, so he's about half a half a tenth quicker, not half a second quicker. Goodness me, he'd be flying around and see if he was. But now medium pilot through the middle sector, looking at his time, 27.8. Purple through the middle sector from medium pilot, and now this is where he's going to try and lay it all on the line, up towards turn 9, and then through turn 10 at the Red Bull Mobile corner. Looks a bit unstable coming through turn 9, now through turn 10, medium pilot absolutely flies out. What's the lap time going to be? It's quickest with a 102.154, and he finds nearly 102.154, I should say, and he finds nearly a tenth of a second over Mashiro, or 0.2 of a second over Mashiro, and Mashiro has now got to try and respond, but I think Mashiro's actually invalidated.
Yeah, Mashiro, I think he just invalidated coming through turn 1, maybe attempting a second run. He did improve ever so slightly time-wise with Recon. Actually did a time that would have been fastest to get him ahead of his teammate onto the front row of the grid. Still wants to beat medium pilot. Just unfortunate for him that he invalidated. Currencies to have pulled out the way of another car. XL Lando not going quicker at the moment. Verstappen heading into the pit. Chapalele doing some donuts out the final corner on the medium tyres. Not the best qualifying session for the German so far. We'll see whether he heads towards the pits and maybe puts on a set of soft tyres. Just sees what he can do in this session. Otherwise, could be a long afternoon for him.
Yeah, it could be a long afternoon for Chapalele, but everyone's got a time on the board, and that's important, because Chapalele now down in 18th and 113.1, but you know with Chapalele that is not a valid lap time at all from the German. His medium pilot, though, still out on top, as he now troops his way with no fuel, coming into the pit lane with 3 minutes and 40 seconds, just under, left to go in the session. Everyone now coming out back into the pit lane to prepare for their final laps. Two drivers that are on laps, though, or on out laps, is Carlsbury and Venom. And Carlsbury, 14th position currently, 102.8. He's on the brink, essentially, of being the next best driver from Venom downwards. Carlsbury, 102.8. Can he improve?
I don't see why not. We've talked earlier about how to find a bit of time. Mentioning medium pilot running out of fuel, that's one way of doing it. But if you know it's going to be your last run, put enough fuel in to get you on the out lap and then your fast lap. It's not like real Formula 1 where you get punished for not having any fuel left in your car. So that's a way just to find that tiny little bit of time. I know it used to be in the olden days of Formula 1 about 10 kilograms of fuel would cost you a couple of tenths of a second easily, and with how close the grid is at the moment, that could well make the difference between Carlsbury. He's in 14th place at the moment. If he puts a bit less fuel in, maybe finds his way towards the top 10. In fact, he's already found a big improvement of 2 tenths in Sector 1 alone.
Yeah, not bad for sector, 15.661 showing up on the task system. Of course, we thank IGKia_task for the telemetry data that we get through in real time for all of these guys out on track. Carlsbury now through turn 4, and then up towards turns 5 and then turn 6. And let's see what the Finn can do out on track. He runs wide. I think he might have just invalidated his lap, and he has. Carlsbury invalidates from wide there completely, and that is his time over and done with. Unluckily for him, he's in 14th position, but he's car number 13.
Yeah, he's still got, luckily he's still got time to make his way around. Venom at the moment, he's on a hot lap as well. He nearly ran wide at the same corner, but it's just, we said, getting that millimetres right and just getting the timing absolutely perfect. Venom goes up into 15th. No improvement in position, but that's quite a big time improvement. Really close it up to all those ahead of him. Again, another driver who might have time for another lap. All the fast guys now, though, starting to head out on circuit. It's going to get very crowded in the Styrian Mountains very shortly.
It is going to get very crowded. Matthias has either invalidated on this lap or has just backed off. I think he must have got turn 1 wrong, and that's why he's down in this middle sector. Noon has just started up a lap for Excel. He's in 13th position, 102.739 his lap time. Through the first sector goes Noon, and Noon's first sector shows to me as a 15.8 through the first sector, so not too bad there from Noon as he now runs down and towards turn 4. We are now getting towards the 1 minute mark here in qualifying. When 30 seconds reach, I think the countdown clock will probably come on in the background. Bullet Boy and Lando 102.514, same lap time as well for 7th and 8th out on track. But now, Noon going to be one of the first guys to come around on this lap as he now comes through the end of the middle sector. As he found time, 29.9 in the middle sector is not too bad. 28 flat, sorry, in the middle sector is not too bad. I was looking at Venom there, but now Noon rounding the final corners. Now through turn 9, then through turn 10, runs out wide, but perfect through there. So now is going to try and improve on his lap time. And he does, 102.713, but it doesn't put him anywhere near towards Verstappen and the likes of Matthias. And speaking of Verstappen, he's around the final corner.
Yeah, just looking at the task system at the moment, we're not really seeing lots of improvements for the drivers. They've all shown their best earlier on. I think medium pilots made a mistake. He has got time for another lap if he needs to. Mashiro was up in Sector 1, a long way down in Sector 2. Recon's invalidated. Amazing Hour has invalidated as well. It looks like it might be a bit of an anticlimax for the top placers. Saying that though, Matthias goes up into 4th place. Cracking lap towards the end of the session, and the checkered flag is out.
Yeah, checkered flag is out, and this is where drivers are going to get. There's Recon, Mashiro with tyres coming into the pit lane as well. There's Medium Pilot just starting up on a lap as well. Not sure who's whereabouts on the track, to be honest. Mashiro tyres out the session, about an hour for tyres out the session as well. He has done, and he's had actually the best lap time, or the same lap time, I should say, compared to Matthias. Now Medium Pilot has been right on board with a beautiful helicopter cam coming through turn 4, then through turns 5 and 6. Pole position is pretty much his, with Recon and Matthias either finishing their laps or invalidating on their laps in terms of Recon. Medium Pilot, though, through the middle sector, 27.880, so he's actually not too far off, but he's just invalidated coming out of turn 8, and that is pretty much, I would imagine, qualifying over and done with. He's still going on this lap, though. What would have it been for Medium Pilot? McLaren runs miles wide through the final corner. Medium Pilot across the line, but his lap time would have been a 102.248, and it wouldn't have been an improvement for him out on track. Just waiting on Matthias coming into the pit lane. That is the end of qualifying. Hardly any improvements out on track. Medium Pilot, though, out on top. Shiro second and Recon in third.
Yes, big improvements at the end that we saw. Matthias moving up into 4th position. Shapalele managing to keep it clean and getting into 8th. Some fast names, though, towards the bottom, well, the lower part of the top 10 and outside of the top 10. Bullet Boy in 10th position at the moment. I don't think XL Lando will be too disappointed about the fact that he set the same lap time, because he'll get free choice of tyres in the Racing Point, and the Haas driver won't. Perpetuum has been so good in qualifying so far this season. 3 pole positions and a front row in the one race he didn't. Down in 12th place in that midfield, and it is a very awkward turn 1 around here. Very narrow straight as well. You do not want to be in the midfield heading towards turn 1.
Definitely not, because it is acting as a pinch point, of course, turn 1 out on track. Medium Pilot, though, out on top from Mashiro in second. A tenth and a half of a second, but I'll tell you what, second down to 14, separated by just over 0.3 of a second, so that's quite close. Mashiro in second, Recon in third, the 2 AlphaTauris. Matthias in fourth with Amazing Hour in fifth, Verstappen 6th, Kuhnblei in 7th, and Chapelali actually improving up into 8th with the same lap time. Volbeek in 9th with Bullet Boy in 10th, Lando in 11th, another same lap time out on track, as well as Matthias in Amazing Hour as well. Petterman 12th, Dobby in 13th, Laser 14th, Noon in 15th, Carsby 16th, Venom in 17th, top 17 are separated by just over 7/10, or just under 7/10, and Zernemer in 18th on 103.109, and he is 9.5 tenths off the top 18. So that being said, pretty much second down to 18th is covered by nearly 0.5 of a second, but Medium Pilot's advantage is something to behold.
Yeah, it is quite a big advantage indeed, and that looks cloudy. I think if I say around this track at the moment, 4th place, I just noticed there, with less than 0.02 of a second. Ridiculously close between Matthias in 4th and Chapelale in 8th. Hopefully that bodes well for the race, and we said we might get DRS trains. If the weather doesn't improve too much, or actually gets worse, maybe they won't even get a chance to use the DRS.
Yeah, you never know, to be honest, out on track. It's going to be fascinating. Of course, let's have a look at the track map in question. 18 minutes worth of qualifying, 36 laps out on track. Dynamic weather, that is proven there by the clouds out on track. C2, C3, C4 compounder tyres, 4.3 kilometres in length. Track known as the Red Bull Ring, and we're in Spielberg in Austria. And did you know 73% of Austria is mountainous? There we are.
I don't know. I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
I know. I found that out from David Croft, so yeah, I'm going to just attribute him in the description, I think, for that one. But there we are. Now, coming on to the formation lap, out on track, a Medium Pilot out on top, of course, Mashiro in second and Recon in third. And Medium Pilot goes spearing off coming through turn 1. That is not the way to start off your formation lap at all. Luckily, no damage on these formation laps, but it just comes to show how overcast these conditions actually are, and Medium Pilot should really pay more attention.
Yeah, it does look a lot worse than qualifying, and just looking at the weather conditions, you'd be thinking it must be a lot colder out there. It's only 1 degree colder air temperature and 2 degrees track temperature. It's currently 28 out on track rather than the 30 that it was during qualifying. So whether that was just a bit too much eagerness, thankfully there is no damage on the formation lap, like you said, and he's in the middle of the pack anyway. He'll be able to retake his position, no worries, but that might have just woke him up ever so slightly.
Doesn't want to be doing that in the real restart, the real race start, I should say, of this race. Looking at everyone's strategies as well. Top 10, of course, qualifying on a set of soft compound tyres. We've got Lando, Perpetum, Laser, Noon, Venom and Zerdimer, all on a set of medium compound tyres. Dobby and Carlsbury, exception rather than the rule. How fast are they going to be in the first half of this race, Dobby and Carlsbury?
They'll be very quick for the first 2 laps, then they might find their progress getting rather stunted all of a sudden once the DRS becomes active. So it's going to be crucial for Dobby and Carlsbury in the Haas and the Ferrari to just work their way up the order. Maybe taking a few risks, maybe just burning through their entire ERS and then using the DRS trains later on to save a bit where possible. Interesting strategy for them though. I'd have expected everyone outside the top 10 to go for the medium tyres. That doesn't tell us, though, anything about the weather at the moment, having some on the softs and some on the mediums. Sometimes you can use the tyres as hint of potentially if any rain's going to come, we're none the wiser. That's kind of a good thing at times.
Right, it is a good thing. They might spice up the race, definitely out on track. The final cars are just rejoining onto the grid, looking at that view, down in towards from turn 1, down onto the starting grid as now we're about to get going for round 5 of Division 1. The 5 red lights are about to go out here in TTML Division 1. Machine were lagging a bit on the start, but lights down, away we go. Medium Pilot gets a very good start indeed, and he's got away from Mashivo, and Mashivo has bogged down off the start. Matthias has got recon possibly down in towards someone. In the end, there's a little bit of contact. Mashivo runs wide as a contact as well. I think that was amazing. Now, possibly, or Chapelelli, that's been sent round to the Germans, being sent round further down from Mashivo all the way down into 3rd. Verstappen, though, in the meantime, right on the back of Bullet Boys. Bullet Boy tries to go down the inside line. He's on Kuhn Bly, just ahead for 5th, and just about gets the move done as we now come down in towards turn 4 for the first time. Medium Pilot leading by 0.8 of a second. Recon second, Machivo on 3rd, with Amazing Arrow in 4th, but Bullet Boy trying to fend off the attention down the inside line, and he's got the move done eventually on Kuhn Bly, as Carlsbury is through on Venom as well. Perpetum has got a really good start. He's up a few positions early on. Dobby up a few positions, but what happened to Chapelelli at turn 1?
I don't know what happened to Chapelelli at turn 1, but Perpetum's really good start might be from the fact that he's not got as much drag on his car anymore, because he is missing the end plate on his front left-hand side, so we said to be careful in that midfield. Matthias with a very tiny bit of damage as well, but nowhere near enough to bother about coming into the pits, as a Venom actually heads towards the pits as well. He's also picked up front wing damage on lap 1, decides that it is worth getting rid of that damage. Media Pilot with a fantastic start though. Mashiro, we did see him lagging a bit at the end of the formation lap. Whether that just caught him out with the lights or not, I'm not quite so sure. Then it was that pinch point that we mentioned into turn 1, which unfortunately sent Matthias around. That does mean Medium Pilot's got a bit of a gap over the Alpha Tower he's behind. It could be really crucial if he can just build that above a second before the next lap.
Yeah, Medium Pilot is a second clear of Recon, Mashiro in 3rd, Amazing Hour in 4th, Volby trying to get onto the back of Verstappen, in the meantime running down in towards turn number 4, out on track. I thought I saw a little hint of rain there, but I might be just going completely and utterly blind with my eyesight, to be honest. Volby right on the back of Verstappen, Kuhn Bly is just ahead of them out on track, and the 2 Alfa Romeos are trying to catch Bullet Boy. All 3 of these really, really good in terms of their pace, and they've all been part of League of Europe as well. Another mention of that Saturday League that I commentate on. Swear it's becoming a regular feature in here in Saturdays. But Medium Pilot leading the way with a 105.5. Perpetum into the pit lane to repair that front wing damage to the left side end plate that he received on lap 1.
Yeah, he was just losing far too much time. I think he tried to hold it out knowing that he was on the medium tyres. He is going towards the hards.
Somebody got in, Amazing Hour is down the inside on a Mashiro, trying to get the move done. Mashiro's so late on the brakes, so there's a little bit of lag contact there between them both, but Amazing Hour is through down the inside line. I think Mashiro was too late on the brakes, and now he's opened up to Bullet Boy. Bullet Boy now down the inside line, and Mashiro has lost 2 places for the price of 1, and that was just about because of a late break up in towards turn 3. So Amazing Hour through, Bullet Boy through, and he's up into 3rd.
Yeah, whether their connections just clashed ever so slightly there. The front wing definitely crashed with the rear tyre, and unfortunately for Mashiro, he has lost a bit of time. I was just saying about Perpetuum, he's gone for the hard tyres, so theoretically doesn't have to pit again. Whether he'll feel the need to pit again, I'm not quite so sure. Those hards could just about make it towards the end of the race. They are going to be very second best, though, towards the end, so we'll have to wait and see. Medium Pilot, though, in the lead, and that battle has allowed Recon to get himself a bit of free air as well. These two could work together and could build up a big gap for those behind.
Yeah, 6/10 of a second, Recon will try and challenge Medium Pilot, and it's good to see Recon actually on the pace this week, because we've seen so many times this season, he hasn't necessarily tried to close down. I'm a bit concerned as well, Bullet Boy's timings on my end is not moving at all off that 0.534, so just a thing to note, possibly if you're trying to view that on the YouTube bot or through the task system like we are. Medium Pilot, though, first, Recon in second, as now Mason Hour is now trying to get onto the back. He's close to 0.2 of a second on Recon, actually, through the first sector and now through the middle sector. So let's see what the Australian can do. But at this moment in time, there's not really much going on. As Schiaparelli dives down the inside on Zerdem. I saw that on the mini-map to the right-hand side. Schiaparelli through, he's up into 15th.
Yeah, Schiaparelli obviously trying to work his way up through the field after whatever happened to him on lap 1. I wonder if it was contact with Perpetuum, because Perpetuum obviously having that front wing damage, it was 4 places behind Schiaparelli. Easily possible if Schiaparelli got a bad start and Perpetuum got a good one, that they could have made contact. We might be able to find later on if there are any stewards' inquiries. There was only one stewards' inquiry at the last race, and that was with Combi and Schiaparelli. That was decided as no further action. So drivers have generally been pretty clean so far this season. In fact, I think it's only Perpetuum who has received a penalty a time penalty for a collision so far, which is impressive to see after 4 races.
Yeah, Venom's just picked up a 3-second time penalty as soon as you said that as well, so that's a bit of a commentator's curse. Literally, you've just said that, but Medium Pilot leading from Recon in second, Amazing Hour in third, Bullet Boy in fourth, and Bullet Boy really concerned about his connection. He is on the good old Virgin Media connection, I've been told, so he's got to try and get onto the back of Amazing Hour, and we're not going to bring up Virgin Media Wi-Fi on this stream, don't worry. Mashiro and Kuhn Bly are trying to catch as well. Actually, looks like Bullet Boy is just trying to get away, possibly, from Amazing Hour. As the sun begins to come through, Volbeat just picked up a time penalty out on track, a 3-second penalty for him. Medium Pilot leading Recon in second, but Amazing Hour just seems to be dragging Bullet Boy along, and they in turn are pulling away from Mashiro in fifth, as Recon's just picked up a 3-second time penalty as well.
Yeah, so many penalties coming through. They're showing pretty good pace at the moment, Amazing Hour and Bullet Boy, both on a 106.0 last time around, as was Amazing Hour, so those third, fourth and fifth all set in quick times. The leader 106.2 and Recon with a 106.432. So whether that was a conscious decision or whether that's just the race pace of these drivers, it does look to be getting a bit more brighter at the moment. So I'd say we don't have to worry too much about the rain. As in 13th and 14th, you've got Noon and Laser going at it now for position. Noon just holding on for now. These on the medium tyres. Schiaparelli's still got the softs behind him, which are pretty fresh at the moment. And the Red Bull just far enough ahead of Venom picks up another time penalty. If he doesn't start being careful, he could easily be at risk at disqualification in this race. He's obviously pushing hard after that damage early on. Now the DRS train at the front's got slightly longer as Bashiro tries to just hang on to the back of these guys, and that might be able to drag the 2 Alfa Romeos, the McLaren of Volbeat, maybe Carlsbury along as well.
Yeah, there is Mashiro in fifth position, a second behind on Bullet Boy at this stage. But yeah, Kuhnblei, Verstappen, Volbeat, Carlsbury, maybe even the likes of Matthias is dropping off the pace. Dobby is catching up to Matthias actually for 11th position, or for 10th position I should say. So I'm going to ride on board with that battle for now and see if anything progresses further up the field, as now Dobby will come as Venom has retired, and that is coming through turn 8. That's a very weird place to go off. Here comes Dobby trying to get the move done on Matthias. He's got to get the move done down the inside and towards turn 3. I wonder if they were under a VSC, and that is absolutely perfect timing from Dobby. He got the move done. VSC has just been deployed afterwards. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, disastrous timing for Lando. He was about to send one up the inside of the tyres there. The drivers will be very happy it is only a VSC rather than a full safety car, because it would have been too early to go onto a set of the medium tyres for those on the soft. So we might have seen lots of drivers coming to the pits and put the hards on. Shame for Venom. It does look as though he's been struggling today. Maybe just pushed a bit too hard in that Renault. Second retirement, unfortunately, of the season. He didn't make it to the checkered flag at Bahrain either, which was a bit of a disaster for the Renault team. Drivers have got to be careful with the VSC, though. We've seen many pick-up drive-through penalties, and that can really ruin your race around here. But if you get the timing right, you could really gain something. And talking of timing, Volbeat's deciding that even though the mediums are borderline and he's going to have to go onto the hards, he fancies a bit of a cheap pit stop.
Yeah, do you know what? I think he could get a one-stop going on Tresetta Hart. That's what he's done. Nobody's picked up a drive-through penalty, which I'm really glad to report. But I tell you what, Kuhn Bly and Mashiro, it's 3 wide, running up in towards turn 3. Look at this, the 2 Alfa Romeos are going to go around the outside of Mashiro, and they've both got the move done. And Verstappen is around the outside of Kuhn Bly, and Verstappen gets both moves done. He is through, and he's up into 5th. Mashiro had an absolute shocking start off that VSC, and now Carlsbury's going to try and come through down the inside line. Has Mashiro got a little bit of damage? Mashiro falls out wide. Carlsbury is through though, and he's up into 7th position. What on earth went wrong with that restart from Mashiro?
I'm just checking if he has got any damage. He doesn't. The only car with any damage is Matthias, with very light front wing damage, so maybe that's why he was struggling slightly. That's what I was saying about timing. If you're too close to the delta, when the game says virtual safety car's ending, you can't floor the throttle. If you've left yourself 5-6 tenths of a second, you know you can floor it unless it's an exceedingly long ending period. You're not going to get a penalty, and I think that's what the 2 Alfa Romeos have done. They've timed it right. Mashiro didn't, and he was just sort of caught on the back foot, got caught off line coming out of turn 3, and Carlsbury's been able to get past him as well. Showed really good pace in qualifying, just all seemed to have fallen apart in the first quarter of this race.
Recon getting close to the back of medium Pollard, right on the back, coming up towards turn 3, and now through turn 4. But again, look, you can see it enabled on a steering wheel, and now Recon is going to try and go for the move down and towards turn 4, but I don't think he's close enough. He's just going to sit and wait in behind and see if he can put medium Pollard under a little bit of pressure. But medium Pollard leading, Recon second, Mason Hour in third. Pettem still going now, of course, on that side of hard. Volbeek came into the pit lane, is in relatively clear air. He's about 4 seconds off the back of Zerdimer. But Mashiro, just to put it into perspective, lost 3 positions off that VSC restart, off Verstappen, off Kuhn, and off Carlsbury out on track. So it's going to be fascinating to see if he can try and speed things up in the second half of the race and try and be one of the quicker guys out on track. However, medium Pilot leading, Recon in second. Bullet Boy is still on the back of Mace. Now, it looks like his connection has sorted itself out nicely, as we are now a quarter of the way through here in Austria. Medium Pilot leading, but I'm still right on board with Recon. He gets another good run out of turn 1, but it's not good enough as he now tries to run up the hill and towards turn 3. I think he might have a think about going for the move here down the inside line. Recon is going to have a thing. There's no second thoughts about it. He is through, and he's into the lead of the race. And now Amazing Hour is going to try and come through on medium Pilot. And now Bullet Boy right in this and getting the front seat, really. As now Amazing Hour, he's not going to go for 2 moves. As he's going to get 1 certainly on medium Pilot. Medium Pilot on the outside line, holding sway. Nidia Hamilton and Albon till the moment they both squirrel. And now medium Pilot has got to have to come to the inside line. Recon defends hard, and Recon hangs on to the lead of the race. But this is all beginning to get very spicy.
Yes, Recon timed the move perfectly into turn 3 because he caught the DRS on the straight as well. That forced medium Pilot to have to go defensive on Amazing Hour, but because Recon was there, Amazing Hour couldn't brake as late as he wanted to, and we saw Recon have to make that very short defensive move to the left. He got a bit of wheel spin coming out of turn 4, so bad news for him. He was just able to hold on to the position, though. We are seeing another scheduled pit stop, though. Verstappen and Matthias coming in at the end of lap 10. They're coming into the pit. I imagine that is going to be a set of hard tyres going on both of their cars.
Medium Pilot right on the back of Recon. We saw the little mistake there from Bullet Boy as well on the exit of turn 1. It wasn't viewable on the camera, but I certainly saw it there just in the background of shot. Recon leading the way from medium Pilot in second, and now medium Pilot. What a shocking camera angle that is. Running down the straight. Recon though leading from medium Pilot in second, 0.2 of a second. Not quite close enough. Somebody that is close enough though is Carlsbury, diving down the inside on Kuhn Bly, and he's through and he's up into 5th. Carlsbury making good progress through the field. Looking at the position changes early on with few pit stops being made. Volbeek, Verstappen, Matthias and Pettem all making pit stops. There's the position changes, and Carlsbury is up 11 positions up into 5th. An absolute phenomenal race from the Finn so far.
Yes, and let's not forget, he started on fresh soft tyres because he was outside the top 10. He shouldn't have a problem stretching these long enough to make the mediums a viable strategy, as we do have the first one of our leaders coming into the pit. That is medium Pilot. Gets it slowed down in time for that 50 miles per hour, 80 kilometres per hour point. Kurenblige and Mashiro also coming into the pit. So it'll be interesting to see where these come out relative to Volbeek. He gained time on Verstappen in that VSC period. He might even end up coming out just ahead of medium Pilot.
He is going to come ahead of medium Pilot. There he is to the right-hand side. There's medium Pilot coming out the pit lane. I'd say that's about 2 seconds coming out the pit lane, to be honest, that Volbeek will have over the back. In front, though, Noon trying to lunge it down on Chapelletti. A little bit of contact there. Amazing Hour is going for the race lead as well on Recon. And now down the inside line, we've got two battles to pick. Which one do we go on board with? It's the lead battle. Amazing Hour now to the outside line of Recon through turn 6. I did say in qualifying this might be moved in around the outside. And Amazing Hour might just do this. Now around the outside of turn 7 to the middle of the sector split. Bullet Boy right on the back as well. Amazing Hour is through, but Recon has got a better run. He's going to have to stay out, I think, another lap unless he dives across very late on indeed and comes into the pit lane, which he doesn't. Amazing Hour in, Bullet Boy is in, and Recon back inherits the lead of the race.
Yeah, I'm not sure Recon will be too happy about the fact that Amazing Hour fought him so hard there, which isn't, obviously he's completely entitled to, and then ended up coming into the pits, because that definitely will have cost probably the pair of them a tiny bit of time. We saw one Williams gain a place, one lost a place, Noon getting ahead of Chapelletti as those softs on the second Williams just start to become a bit more worn now. And Amazing Hour and Bullet Boy have gone for the medium tyres. They're feeling confident that they can get them a long enough distance at the moment. When you look at the mediums of Lando at this moment in time, as you can see where Amazing Hour's come out, actually, ignore that, he's come out right in the middle of a battle here. Bullet Boy going down the inside of Verstappen, and he might try and get Amazing Hour as well.
That was brave, bold, and too brass, I think, from Bullet Boy, trying to get the move done. And he's now on the back of Verstappen. His good old rival and friend from League of Europe is now. Bullet Boy comes down the inside line in the medium compound tyres, and he's through. And I think Verstappen just let him have that one, to be honest. So Bullet Boy through, and he's up into P12. Amazing Hour into P11. But goodness me, I think Bullet Boy might have just been counting his sins there, to be honest, out on track, because he tried to lunge it down the inside. Amazing Hour, albeit, was trying to lunge it in the inside of medium pilot, I think, and then Bullet Boy tried to go down the inside as well, and it really did not end up well. But the medium runners now beginning to look quicker than the set of hards that have just came into the pit lane, and they will have a bit of time advantage of something like 0.7, 0.8%, 0.8 seconds a lap that these tyres will have over on these set of hards. Is now Amazing Hour is now on the back of medium pilot. Medium pilot in the meantime on the back of Zerdimer. Laser and Noon, I can see just at the top of the hill. They're going side by side, coming down the hill, and Noon has got the move done on Laser, and he's up into 4th position. Lando on the back of Dobby, but medium pilot now looking at Zerdimer. On board with Amazing Hour. There's now medium pilot to the inside line. Is Amazing Hour going to have to run on both of them, possibly down in towards turn 4? No, but he is going to lunge it down the inside line, and to be honest, I think Zerdimer just gets out the way. He doesn't want anything to do with that, and now medium pilot up to 8th, Amazing Hour up to 9th, Bullet Boy up into 10th.
The last thing you want to do as a reserve is end up getting involved in some contact and taking someone else, because it will not go down well whatsoever as now Dobby comes into the pit. So that's only Causby and Chapelletti that have stayed out on circuit. In fact, Chapelletti comes into the pit. So Causby, he said on those fresh soft tyres, he's not doing a bad job whatsoever. The mediums on Lando, after 14 laps, he's currently on about 45 to 50% on every single one of the tyres. If you take a bit off that double 8, you're talking high 80s, but obviously he's got a lot more tyre wear, he's got a lot more fuel in his car than those further down the order that have put the fresh mediums on, like Recon, Dobby, Chapelletti will do. So if you're pushing too hard, you might get a puncture of his Amazing Hour down the inside of medium pilot.
Yeah, gets the move done. Bullet Boy trying to have a look there as well. Recon is through as well on Verstappen. Those two were going side by side. Those two battles, I should say, were going side by side. So Amazing Hour is through and he's up into 6th. Medium pilot down to 7th. Bullet Boy down to 8th, or remains in 8th position. Now he's going to try and have a crack at the hard runner out on track of medium pilot, who of course has got to gain over Perpetuum. I think it's inevitable he's going to be gaining over Perpetuum unless he makes some sort of mistake. Further down the field though, we see him move on the mini-map to the right hand side. Chapelletti that was, on a fresh set of mediums, getting past the tyres. He is up into 15th position, of course, with Causby now coming into the pit lane. That's going to put Lando into the lead of the race. There is Causby coming into pit lane, and he's another one that's gone for a set of mediums. Where's he going to come out in all of this, though? I think he might even come out behind Mashiro, just in between Mashiro and Dobby, I think, with this one.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely place for Causby. He shouldn't have any tyre woes towards the end of the race, but we mentioned some of the others. Mike Chapelletti gets a 3-second tyre penalty. Laser works his way up into 2nd place ahead of Noon. An Amazing Hour. He's going to do another move down the inside into turn 3 on Volby, using those fresh medium tyres. He is now up into 4th, into the net lead of the race, and you'd expect him to just pull away from the hard shot cars. Just depends on how long can the tyres last, as Noon and Laser are still going at it. Up ahead, they're going for the alternate strategy. They keep battling like this and might just be too far down to take advantage.
It might be too far down to take advantage. Kuhnblei and Mashiro also through 10th and 11th, passing Zerdemer, who I think let them through. Lando, though, leading out on track. These set of mediums, I think, can go above 20 laps to try and go onto a set of soft compound tyres later on in the race. It is possible if you can try and put out your tyre strategy to there, but it's also impossible if you're a really bad tyre wear giver, like I am normally out on track. Lando's just picked up a 3-second sample and it's leading the way out on track as we now approach the halfway stage. On board with Bullet Boy now running up in towards turn 1, and Bullet Boy now will look at Medium Pilot running up in towards turn number 2 and 3, through the cake at 2 and then at the top of the hill at 3. But because they're stuck in a DRS train, I don't think he's going to lunge for move. But not in Bullet Boy, anything's possible, to be honest. As now he's on the back of Medium Pilot running down the hill and towards turn 4. Gets a good second run out. Mashiro is through on Kuhnblei further down the field, so he's through and going side by side. So in fact, let's run on board with this. As now we come on board with the Japanese man, and just in behind, that's Carlsbury getting through on Zerdemer as well. So Mashiro through, he's up to 10th, and Carlsbury now through and he's up into 12th.
There's a Carlsbury. He's higher than he was when at the start of the race. He's already gained. He's 4 places higher than when he started the race. He's got others to bit ahead of him, and he's on better tyres than everyone is ahead of him. He's on for a good race at the moment. If he can just keep it clean, fingers crossed, everything does go well for him. An amazing hour catching up to those ahead, but Volbeek and Medium Pilot are staying with him at the moment. The quicker Amazing Hour can break that 1 second window, the better for him. He needs to use his tyres. Well, it's sort of an awkward situation.
Oh, Recon's gone for a move down the inside, forces Verstappen out wide, lets him through, I think, and now they're side by side, running up the hill and towards turn 3, and now Bullet Boy and Recon are side by side, and Bullet Boy, I think, is just going to hang this one done. Recon trying to go around the outside, tries to switch it back, he just falls Bullet Boy out wide coming through turn 1, and that is why Bullet Boy still stays in P7, Recon in P8. He wants to get on with things, Recon, but he's got to do it in a way that is very clean and competitive. As now Carlsbury absolutely sails past Bashiro, running down in towards turn 4. He is making very eye-catching progress, the man from CWC, and he leads the way, certainly on the medium runners, the fresh mediums. He's beginning to come through the field into 10th position.
Yes, unfortunately, though, he has managed to pick up 3 seconds at the moment, but looking at what have they got? 7 drivers in total picking up penalties. That's definitely going to go up in the final half of this race.
Goodness me, Noon having a bit of a lawn mowing moment there, coming across the line. So going towards one of Laser's going to take full advantage of that, gets the move done on Noon, and now Amazing Hour's on the back of these, and you know Amazing Hour's not going to hang around. He's going to get Noon. I don't think he'll get Laser though, because of that slipstream effect. So Noon is now down into P4, all of a sudden loses 2 positions, and now Laser is under pressure from Amazing Hour. Let's see what the Australian man can do out on track behind the Brit of the TTG team, of course. This was EML on Wednesday. Thank goodness me, would be in for a treat, but now Amazing Hour down the inside line. Going to make light work of Laser, and he is through, and he's up into 2nd as Bullet Boy tries to make light work of Medium Pilot on the back, and now they're fighting out for 6th and 7th.
Yes, and that's good for Amazing Hour that he's managed to get ahead of Laser and Noon before this middle sector, because Volbeek's going to spend a bit of time stuck behind them. Yes, he's going to get DRS off of them as Noon now picks up a penalty, but he will have lost a tiny bit of time in the dirty air through 6, 7 and 8. So in fact, you can see Noon's nearly drops a second behind Laser at the moment, so he seems to be struggling more, if anything. Things are really getting close. Look how close Bullet Boy and Recon are onto the back of Medium Pilot at the moment. I don't think they can really afford to send one, because if they get it wrong, they could just go through the field like a pack of bowling pins as Noon's off.
Noon has spun, coming out of turn 1, it's 3 wide, running up in towards turn 3 as well. There might be a safety car going to be deployed. Oh, right on time! Safety car deployed out on track, and this ruins the battles that we're just about to commentate on. But now, what does this do? Noon spinning out of turn 1. I saw him fly off camera shot to the right-hand side. I think he's just got caught on the outside curb, and he is round and he's out the race. He's the second retirement out on track. So we've had 1 VSC and now a full safety car out on track. And lap 20 out of 36. Do you know who this is going to do a hell of a lot of favours for? Lando out in front.
Lando, Laser, anyone who's got a set of soft tyres that is fresh, it's surely you've got to go for it on this lap. It's worth the risk. It's a long way to go in full racing conditions, but you're going to have until at least the end of lap 22 for a safety car, and then 14 racing laps plus a couple of safety car laps should be manageable on the lighter fuel loads. Lando is coming into the pits. I think Amazing Hour, he's staying out on circuit. Might be able to tell now who used up their tyres in qualifying and who didn't.
Yep, lasers into the pit lane. I'm just going to have to blue screen for a second to get rid of voice commands that came up once again on my PS4. Lando's now coming out the pit lane. He is on a set of soft compounded tyres, and he's going to be joined actually behind Carlsbury, which is not a bad place to come in, actually. He's got the inside line, actually, through turn 1. Carlsbury is already through, and now he rejoins in 8th position. But yeah, on a fresh set of soft compounded tyres, you would imagine he's going to be carving, absolutely carving his way through the field like a pumpkin on Halloween. Terrible. Amazing Hour leads, medium pilot second, Bullet Boy in third. Run to the safety car period, go and grab a cup of tea, go and grab some popcorn. You'll need it for the next 15 laps or so.
Yeah, you will indeed. Lando on fresh soft tyres coming out in 8th place. Laser without any penalties on the fresh softs in 11th. Interesting comment by Mark here that needed one of the XL lads to be PK Junior to someone's Alonso. And XL Noon's out of the race, so we'll just roll that hand grenade out there and get some conspiracy. Bit like, I think it was the virtual GP, wasn't it? George Russell's teammate who skittled his way through everyone at the centre S's and left a nice path for George to move up the order.
Yeah, I wonder. It's going to be fascinating, though, I think, to see how this is all going to unfold out on track. But yeah, Lando in 8th position. He hasn't got things his own way, to be honest. He's on that set of soft compounded tyres. More importantly, as well, he's got the penalties. There are the penalties there. 3 seconds for Volbeek, Recon, Carlsbury, Lando also 3 seconds. 6 seconds for Schiaparelli and Mashiro on 3 seconds as well. So it is going to be interesting to see how those guys determine the penalties against whether they push or not for position. But knowing these guys, they're going to have to push for position out on track. And there is your leader, Amazing Hour, out on track. Medium Pilot in second, Bullet Boy in third. I think we've got at least another lap of the safety cars to be out. Perpetum and Matthias still to rejoin onto the back. But with 15 laps to go, Amazing Hour leads. Medium Pilot in second, Bullet Boy in third. To be honest, it's one thing to try and overtake around this track. It's another thing to try and make your way up the field. And Lando has got a lot of ground to make up if he wants to try and win this.
Yes, most definitely. The first couple of laps are going to be crucial because everyone in front of him is going to have worse tyre temperature, especially those on the hards. Medium Pilot, Volbeek and Verstappen, it's going to feel like they're driving on ice compared to everyone else for the first couple of laps around this circuit. I'll be very surprised indeed if they're not doing some very aggressive weaving, burnouts, all sorts of things just to try and get some temperature into those tyres. The older they are and the harder they are, the worse it is on the safety car conditions. So if you're currently sitting in 4th in the McLaren on 13 lap old hard tyres, it's going to be a pretty nervy restart for yourself. We'll find out soon though. Safety car in this lap, 14 laps remaining. What this does mean is that those on the medium shouldn't have any tyre worries when it comes to punctures, neither should those on the soft. So all things being normal, should just be a clean race straight towards the end.
It should be indeed. Volbeek as well on 13 apple hards. Watch out for him because he could hold up quite a lot of the guys in behind, including Lando, who'll be trying to seek his way through the field on that set of soft compounded tyres. But now, Amazing Hour is the virtual Burmander out on track. Virtual Burmander, i.e. the safety car, is now into the pit lane. So Amazing Hour can decide when to go anytime soon, and I think he'll go about now. That's perfect. And now Amazing Hour now runs into the final 2 corners and he's out in front position. I'll tell you what, Recon has got a good start under this the safety car restart as well, and he is right on the back of Volbeek. Of course, you can't pass it across until you cross the line, and now Recon pulls out of the slipstream on Volbeek, tries to go down the inside line and towards turn 1. We saw that with Bullet Boy earlier on. Little bit of contact that puts him out wide, and now Verstappen is going to have a run and absolutely sailed on by. Recon trying to go for the inside line again. It really didn't pay off, and now Recon back within the slipstream, going to try and come at him. Carlsbury trying to make his way around the outside as well on Recon. Recon again looking down the inside line. He's got to really hold back on trying to go for these moves. Now Lando is going to be the one that tries to get the move done. Carlsbury as well on Verstappen, side by side down in towards turn 4. Carlsbury is going to have Verstappen. Is Lando going to have Recon as well? Yes, he does, and he nearly makes contact with Verstappen. But now Lando on the outside line is going to try and go around the outside of turn 6. He nearly got boxed in there, but he didn't, and Lando is thrown up into 6th.
I'm not sure how everyone's got through that quite cleanly. Recon, he sort of semi-committed into turn 1. That meant he wasn't far enough alongside to be afforded any room by Volbeek, and in fact he is coming into the pit, so I wonder if he's just getting rid of those medium tyres. Oh no, he's made a very late decision. Oh, what on earth has Recon done there?
That is absolutely disastrous from Recon out on track, and now in 16th, if his driving didn't get that bad, well, there's just the proof. Lando right on the back of Carlsbury, though, for 5th position out on track, and Recon, sadly, now playing no real further part in this race. Here comes Lando, though, on the inside of Carsbury, trying to get the move done. Yellow flag in sector 1, and Recon's actually binned it coming out of turn 1. And if that comes out of safety car, that just comes to show how silly that was, to be honest. Lando in 5th, Carsbury 6th, Verstappen in 7th. It was on the racing line, I think he retired that as well. So I think we would have got a safety car out by now, to be honest. Lando through in the meantime, he's up into 5th. Car is cleared. Luckily, Recon is not going to have any slap wrists, I think, with that. But Amazing Hour lead. Medium Pilot 2nd, Bullet Boy in 3rd. But Lando having good ground so far, but those tyres are going to reach their peak point around in about 6 or 7 laps time, I think.
Yes, but I think, unluckily for him, everyone else might do as well. As Perpetuum picks up a time penalty. This is good news for him because he was marooned at the back of the field with no real hope. He's now got some medium tyres. Everyone else around him on softs, but if he keeps it cleaner than some of the others, who knows, he might be able to gain a bit of time later on in the race, especially if he can just stick within the DRS train. Amazing Hour leading, Medium Pilot 2nd, Bullet Boy in 3rd. Volbeing actually not doing too bad of a job. I think he is about to lose another place though too. XL Lando down the inside into turn 2. It's the outside for turn 3, well ahead before the racing line. He'll have DRS down the next straight as well. That should be a safe position as Chapelele fighting with Dobby and Laser trying to get himself involved in all this.
I think Dobby tried to move across on Laser to try and come back at him. Didn't work because Laser's through and he's up into 9th. Chapelele through and he's up into 8th. So Dobby's just lost 2 positions, and that is Kumbly right on the back of Mashivo, fighting for 11th and 12th position out on track as well. All pretty much stagnant in the top 5 or top 6 positions as you look at it currently. Matthias trying to go around the outside of Perpetuum, who's down in 14th. In terms of the championship, Medium Pilot outscoring massively compared to Perpetuum at this stage. We'll, of course, get the virtual standings up at the end of this, but Kumbly now on the back of Mashivo. He's on a set of soft Commentators. You would imagine he'll be quicker than the Japanese man ahead, but the Japanese man, he's not a TTML Division 2 champion for anything.
No, he shows some good pace so far this season. He's going to be very awkward to pass now that the DRS is active. You think Cohen's just got to use the tyre grip where possible at this moment in time. Further upfield though, Lando, he's definitely using his tyre grip down the inside of Bullet Boy. He's up into 3rd position. If he works his way past Medium Pilot and Amazing Hour over the next 2 laps, he could gain that 3-second tyre penalty at the moment. He could end up taking a victory for this race, and that would be a 5th different winner in 5 races.
That would be unbelievable if he can do that, and we haven't knocked off his chances at all in this race, but Lando is making absolutely flying progress through the field, and he's still got 11 laps to go in this race, so no matter what he can do really in this race. Amazing Hour is still leading though, from Medium Pilot in 2nd, Lando in 3rd. You are going to become, I think, Lando's favourite fans in the comment section. Recon saying he's CBA out on track, and that's unfortunate for Recon, of course, but Amazing Hour leading, Medium Pilot in 2nd, Lando in 3rd. 10 more laps to go here in Austria. If you haven't got that popcorn or haven't spilt a drink over yourself, I think these next 10 laps might just prove that.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of exciting action. Look at this, he's going for it again, Lando. He just doesn't care at the moment. He must have that car set up fantastically in a straight line. He knew he was going to have to make some overtaking down the inside of his teammate. He's into 2nd place, and Amazing Hour doesn't have the DRS, obviously, so next lap should be easier. Chapelele now is into 7th place. He's worked his way ahead of Verstappen. I don't know if Verstappen's going to be able to fight back down the straight. I don't think so this time around. The only thing that could stop Lando is his ERS is a lot lower than Amazing Hours, but I'm not sure that's going to make any difference.
Do you hear even what I'm laughing at, by the way? I've just seen Mark's comment in the stream. Flavio Donegan is happy with noon. Of course, that's Gary Donegan he's on about there. Lando is on the back of a major now, and you said he is now on the back of the leader, and I tell you what, he's just been absolutely flying his way through the field. But I said one thing to overtake, another thing to try and get the win around here. Lando could be on to do both, which is going to make me look like an absolute fool out on track. But now Lando, is he going to try and go for 4th consecutive move? Yes, he is. He's going to absolutely sail on by an Amazing Hour. An Amazing Hour just gives up, I think, in pursuit for that lead. And now Lando is into the lead of the race, and this is absolutely unbelievable. XL tactics working to absolute perfection, but now this is the crunch point because the tyres are beginning to wear. Amazing Hour, because he's still within that slipstream, is going to be on the back of him. Lando now needs to treat these next few laps as qualifying laps, as Carlsbury is through on Volbeek around the outside through turn 4. He gets moved on, he's up into 5th.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, good move by Carlsbury. Lando, he could probably do with that extra ERS now to just have 1 lap of full qualifying, full send, push like crazy. try and build that 1 second gap, and he's nearly got there already, but it's going to shrink quite significantly by the time we get round to turn 4 again at the end of the PDRS. So Shapalele ahead of Volbeek. Volbeek's trying to fight back down the inside at turn 10, not going to be able to do so. So a good move by Shapalele. Lando is flying at this moment in time, and if Amazing Hour drops outside the DRS range, are we going to see Medium Pilot start to put him under any pressure?
Yeah, Medium Pilot, I think his tyres are certainly going to be coming into play later on. Bullet Boy as well, now on the back of Medium Pilot, but I think Medium Pilot's got the legs running up the hill. Chapelani got the move done around the outside, as Verstappen now is going to gang up on Volbeek as well. He's done 3 lap pressure tyres, so you would imagine these guys will be running the same tyre wear out on track, but they're not, and Volbeek still in 7. Now Verstappen trying to go around the outside line. We saw this with Carlsbury last time around, and Chapelani dives down the inside as well. That is late, that is bold, that is brave, that could be brilliant. It's not too brilliant. He's still ahead though, as Verstappen now as on Volbeek is through, and Chapelani has somehow got that move done. Down the inside and towards turn 4, through turn 5 and 6. Chapelani is through and he's up into 5th. If there's a man on a mission further down the field, it's Chapelani at this point.
Yeah, Laser now getting ahead of Volbeek as well. The two McLaren swapping for 8th and 9th. Gotta wonder where Chapelele would be in this race if he hadn't had that spin on lap 1, and if maybe not had to leave it until the end to set qualifying laps. I think Volbeek's gone way wide here. Once you start running off track, especially on older tyres, you really do start dropping down the order. He was 6th a couple of laps ago. He's now down in 13th. This has not worked out well, unfortunately, for the McLaren driver, and Laser getting really close to the back of Verstappen though in the other McLaren for 7th place. He should get this move done easily into turn 3.
Yeah, a lot later on the brakes there, Laser on the set of softs. He is through, but look at the switchback that Verstappen has got to try and get the move done. Back down and towards turn 4. Laser, though, just absolutely accelerates away with that DRS detection point. Verstappen not using up any overtake mode, and Laser's through, and he's up into 7th position. So good move there by Laser. Tell you what, Lando was not getting away out in front. 7/10 of a second the gap. Amazing Hour in 2nd. And looking at the tyre wear that these guys have currently progressed out on track, and we'll update in just a second, but Lando 9 tenths clear ahead of Amazing Hour out on track. And Lando's got about 16% better tyres at this stage according to Amazing Hour. He's now dropped a second, Amazing Hour behind, just 2 seconds to go.
Yeah, he's done it, but DRS just helped Amazing Hour get back within a second. And now again, he'll just carry on with that as well, but he gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane and he's out of the race. It really did start falling apart on those older hard tyres. Lando, it's going to be tough for him to get the win. 2nd place is definitely on at the moment. He's now 2.6 seconds, nearly 3 seconds ahead of Media Pilot. If I was Bullet Boy, I'd be wanting to make a move pretty fast on that racing point. Otherwise, he could see his chances of even getting a podium slip away here because those front two are just pulling away.
I think for Bullet Boy, it might be the 3rd time in 3 weeks he's actually been on the podium if he does that. Volbeek leaves the session though. Thank him for attending. Yellow flag in Sector 3 is his car in the pit lane. Lando leading the way from Amazing Hour in 2nd, Medium Pilot 3rd, Bullet Boy in 4th. That car has now gone out of the pit lane. But yeah, Lando not really getting away there. 2.8 seconds. To be honest, the gaps are just beginning to get that bit stagnant, I think, out on track. Kumbly picks up a 3-second time further down the field. And now, to be honest, Lando would be hoping Amazing Hour picks up a penalty behind him. And Lando has got to put a little bit of pressure on the guy behind him as opposed to the guy in front. So whether that's a bit of a misjudgment through a corner and it forces Amazing Hour out wide and he's in the dirty air, he's got to try and do that to try and combat Amazing Hour's pace, because Amazing Hour will just be there to try and nap up that position as soon as possible. Papetin is on the back of Mashiwa. This could be quite an interesting battle, running for 10th position. Papetin dives it down the inside line. He's on 3-lap older tyres, but he makes that one look really easy indeed. He's not the championship leader for anything. Papetin through and he's up into 10th, but for how long? Because Mashiwa now is going to come back out of the slipstream to the outside line. Can the Japanese man, the former TTML Division 2 champion, get the move done? Defending Division 1 champion from TTML last season. And now these two go hammer and tongs down in towards turn 5 and 6. Papetin on the outside line. Mashiwa does not need to give up without a fight, but Papetin is through and he's up into 10th position. Really good battle between the two defending champions from Division 1 and 2. Papetin through and he's up into 10th.
Yeah, good move from Papetin. He just kept his head down in this race. It would have been easy to get very frustrated after what happened earlier on. Mark of a champion, really. Similar with Mashiwa, with his troubles as well, showing why they are the reigning Division 1 and 2 champions at the moment. It might be harder for them to move any further up the field because they've both got penalties and Dobby doesn't, and then it is quite a bit of a gap to Verstappen, although Verstappen has dropped outside of DRS range. So whether Dobby will be able to have a go at him, I'm not quite so sure. Amazing how we're still closing up to the back of Lando. Medium Pilot, though, is now more than 3 seconds behind the racing point. So it looks as though if he's not going to get the win, top 2 is definitely possible for Lando on that alternate strategy. Bullet Boy still not able to get close enough where it matters to try and get an overtake done.
Somebody that is getting close enough, though, is Mashivo. Look at Pepetto. Oh, they make contact. Mashivo and Pepetto sent spinning into Derma. Has been caught up in that as well. He's got left side end plate damage. Flying across onto the gravel there. Matthias and Kumbly are very close to not picking up any damage there at all, which is very good. But that's Zerderma. Wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately for him. And now he has got left side end plate damage. He will go for the fastest lap point, I'm sure, out on track. Lando leading the Mason Hour in second, but honestly, Mashivo just trying to look down the inside line there, Pepetto, not only, I don't think he's got damage, which I'm glad to report, Pepetto now down into 12th, Mashivo up into 10th, stewards are going to have a look at that one, as now Pepetto looks to the inside on Kumbly, down in towards turn 1, can he get the move done? Yes he can, because Kumbly is slightly out wide, and now Matthias is going to filter through as well. Pepetto through and he's up into 11th, Matthias through and he's up into 12th.
You know, Matthias through into 12th. Zoidema, he might stay out on circuit, because if he does pit, he's not guaranteed to get the fastest lap point. He's kept it clean at the moment, and others ahead of him have got penalties. Lando is currently on to get that fastest lap point, and the highest anyone's finished and got the fastest lap so far this season was 10th last time with Combi, which sounds like not a bad finish, but then consider that was actually the last position at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It was quite a race of attrition, so we're not used to those high up the order. Managing to get that extra fastest lap point could be oh so important at the end of the season. Lasers managed to catch up to the back of Carlsbury, but again, can't quite get close enough at that moment in time. Shapalele picked up another time penalty, 3 laps to go. If Amazing Hour keeps it clean, it looks like he's done enough to get this race victory. It's can Lando hold on ahead of his teammate to get second after the penalties?
Yeah, 2 laps to go, in fact, as Lando leads from Amazing Hour in second, Medium Pilot in third, but we were right on board with Laser and Carlsbury, who are catching on to the back of Chapelletti, as you've just mentioned, and now the Ferrari closes in. The Finn on the back of the German. Dobby is through in the meantime, halfway up the straight, and he is through, and he's up into 8th position, so there goes the breakthrough on the Dutchman. Chapelletti, though, is going to be under pressure running down the hill from Carlsbury. I don't think, with the length of how this straight is, don't think Carlsbury is going to be close enough. He's not using up any overtake mode. I think he switches down halfway down the straight, and he remains now in P6, P7. Matthias, though, is through on Pepetto, or is he? Because Pepetto tries to fight back. Yeah, Matthias is through around the outside line. He's up into 11th position out on track. Gap between Lando and Medium Pilot, the two teammates, 3.5 seconds out on track. It's looking quite good as Chapelletti has spun coming out of turn 8, and he's got damage, I think, on that car as well, if I'm not mistaken. He hasn't actually. He spun out on the gravel, and he's now down into 9th position, and gives a whole host of drivers a free position onto the final lap.
Yes, with 12 seconds of penalties, he's going to finish in last place at this moment in time, so I'm not going to say Chapelletti's nickname, we've heard it before, but it just seems to be happening again where things just don't go well for him towards the end of races. He might have a go at Verstappen here, but it looks like he's stuck in a bit too much of a DRS train at this moment in time. Bullet Boy has probably dropped off the back.
Amazing Hour's got a puncture! Amazing Hour's got a puncture, has he?
Yes!
No, he hasn't!
Front left!
Front left puncture! Amazing Hour, 22 laps, has got a puncture. I knew he slowed down for something. And now Lando's going to be awarded this race win. This is absolutely unbelievable. Amazing Hour. His tyre is punctured on the final lap of the race. And this is unbelievable. And now Lando is 3.6 seconds clear. This is an absolute dream for the Brit out on track. He now comes up towards the final 2 corners out on track. It's going to be the 5th different winner in 5 different races here in TTML. Lando around the final corner. He is going to do it after all. Lando across the line. Wins in Austria. Brilliant, brilliant win. Medium Pilot in second. 4 tenths behind in the end. Bullet Boy in third. Another podium for him. Carlsbury fourth. Laser up. Amazing Hour crashes coming across the line. That's Chapelletti dropping down the field as well. What an amazing, dramatic race. That final lap. Amazing Hour not only had a puncture on his front left, but 78% on that front right tyre as well. Driver of the day, awarded by the in-game fans, is Excel Lando, and he wins out on track.
I don't think you can really argue with that. It all went wrong on the final laps for the Williams team. Chapelletti spinning around a puncture for Amazing Hour could have only really happened in the 70% region. So unlucky to get that puncture. We've seen it happen here before, but what a win from Lando. You could argue he was lucky with the safety car, but there was no luck about the overtakes he made afterwards. Fantastic job from him. Medium Pilot, he'll be happy with second place, and Bullet Boy, third podium in a row.
Yeah, a Medium Pilot, more importantly, outscoring Perpetum by quite a margin coming into the championship, and we'll have to remain and see what the championship is going to look like. But Lando picks up the fastest lap of the race as well. So not only does he get 30 points, he picks up 31 points because of that fastest lap point. Medium Pilot in second. It's a racing point 1-2 with Bullet Boy in third. Laser in fourth with Dobby in fifth. Amazing Hour, so unlucky, but still finishes sixth across the line. Carsbury across the line in seventh with Matthias in eighth. Verstappen ninth. Mashiro down in 10th. Zerdimer 11th. Perpetum in 12th. Kuhn in 13th. Chapelletti in 14th. Bulby, Recon, Noon and Venom not having. Flavio Donegan will be very happy, I think, with the XL tactics pulled off. And that means Lando has won and becomes the fifth different winner of the season.
Yeah, fifth different winner of the season. It has closed up quite dramatically now at the top of the championship. Perpetum is still leading. He is on 104 points at this moment in time, provisionally, before any penalties are applied. Medium Pilot, though, is now just 7 points behind. He's on 97, actually, and I think Bullet Boy, he's now stays in third place on 89 points. Things could have been so different, though. Amazing Hour. It looked like he had that win in the bag. He got a puncture, so unlucky for him. Nothing's really gone his way since race 1 of the season, unfortunately for him, but he's shown that he has got the pace. I'll be surprised if we don't see him on the podium again this season, probably on the top step at the podium at some point. I promised you Austria was going to deliver, but I don't think I was quite expecting that much excitement.
Neither did I, honestly, and it was fantastic to see, and hopefully we can try and get at least one of the top 3 in.
You're forever the optimist, James. Forever the optimist.
Lando's got a mic. I know for a fact he'll come in for an interview. Guaranteed.
If you're guaranteeing it, we'll give it a go.
Oh, goodness me. But just a reminder as well of the action that is up and coming this week here in TTML and on League Racing TV. Tomorrow night is round 2 of the EML F1 Championship, and that is, of course, a Drivers' Championship primarily based with the teams that are in EML, and that is, of course, Daniel Huggard and Aidan Carter, I think, taking you through that one tomorrow night. Thursday, it's Division 2 and Division 3. Daniel Huggard and Michael Edwards taking you through Division 2. Division 3 is Aidan Carter and Conti. Division 4, out on track, is myself on a Friday night alongside Paco Suarez. He should be joining me back for that one. And then Division 5 is James Boyle taking you through the action. And if that race is anything to prove in Austria, there's going to be a whole lot to come for TTML as well on Sunday, and that's for F2, Pepsi Freak and TFI Buck taking you through that one. But as we get the drivers in, hopefully for an interview, it's going to be fascinating. And I'll come across to you, Luke. I know your answer to this, but who's your driver of the day?
It's got to be Lando, hasn't it? It's got to be Lando. Did a good job on the first stint. We can argue till the cows come home about luck. He was about 6 or 7 seconds clear of everyone else when the safety car came out. That meant he wasn't as far down the order as some of the others were. That meant he was able to take advantage. He did a good job. Again, maybe a bit lucky with the penalty, the puncture, I should say, of Amazing Hour. But I think even without that, he'd have been my driver of the day. He wouldn't have been the race winner, though.
He wouldn't have been the race winner, but he is the race winner. He's here now. XL Lando winning here in Austria, the 5th different winner of the season. My God, how are you, first of all? And second of all, how was that race?
Disbelief, to say the least. Quali, I was actually a little bit disappointed. I think I did a 0.514, which for what I'm able to do around Austria, I actually really wasn't happy with. But yeah, was able to start in mediums and then had actually a really good pace, just over everyone else on the mediums. But yeah, the race was okay. I feel like I got a little bit lucky with the safety car. Noon, he was saying in the party, he actually had a little tap from Volbeig through turn 1, which then put him off, and then he obviously retired. But yeah, just had really good pace at the end, obviously with the fresher tyres. And yeah, it was just, I couldn't believe it when I saw Amazing Hour dropped off. I was just like, I actually said in the party, I was just like, has Amazing Hour gone to like give DRS or something to medium pilot, and obviously like they're not in the same team or anything. I was just like, what's happened? And then yeah, Noon was like, he's got a puncture. I was like, okay, so this is on. But yeah, 11th to first. Wasn't even thinking of even a top 5. Was just thinking of just picking up some good points. But yeah.
I think with how everything fell into place for you as well, that safety car came out at the ideal spot. I said it in commentary that you would try and make their way through the field. I said it was one thing to try and overtake around this track, but you put on, honestly, an overtaking masterclass out of there. How did you feel those tyres were towards the end of the race?
Well, obviously when I put them, well, they weren't even fresh. They were, I think, like 6% worn. So yeah, under the safety car, just was almost doing a Raikkonen from Abu Dhabi, just kind of just driving around, not really weaving. And yeah, the first half of the stint, up until I'd probably say about lap 31, they felt actually really good. And then yeah, from there, to be fair, they really didn't drop off. It was only the last lap, like the last 2 sectors, but I think that was actually more nerves, just kind of hitting braking points and just making sure didn't get a final warning, because actually I got 2 warnings right near the end. So yeah, it was really fortunate with that. But yeah, no, the tyres actually felt alright, and was actually fun to overtake on the game, because sometimes, especially around Austria, we can get a lot of trains, as we had in the first part of the race. But yeah, it was nervy but very fun as well.
Yeah, it definitely was nervy, and I can only imagine the reaction from Flavio Donegan in the commentary in the party that you were in. What was his reaction to the win?
He wasn't actually there. It was actually only Dan or Zaldma and Jake or Noon. And yeah, we were all kind of just in a bit of shock. It was like, so how have I actually done this? But yeah, like I said, just a little bit of luck at times, just needs, and then just kind of the pace advantage really over on the soft tyres. I kind of felt a few of the overtakes, I was just like, okay, so I'm getting let through here because of a penalty, and through here. And then I got to the lead, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to pull away from Maisenauer. And yeah, the last lap, it was really, yeah, to be fair, it was really unfortunate for Maisenauer with his puncture. I think, was it at turn 3 or was it before it, actually?
I think it was going through turn 3, because it was about 7/10 of a second, I think, the gap. And then all of a sudden, I just saw it shot up to 1.8 seconds. And I was like, what on earth just happened?
I was like, what, halfway down from turn 3 going to turn 4, and I saw it go to 2.5. I was like, what's Maisenauer doing? He's like, just like, did he have a moment after turn 3? And then Jake was like, he's got a puncture. I was like, oh, so win maybe? But yeah, no, GG to everyone. And yeah, Racing Point actually had a 1-2 for once, so.
A 1-2, yeah. Is that the first 1-2 of the season as well?
I don't know if it's the first. I think it might be. Obviously, we've had, like you said, 5 different winners already. So yeah, I think it could be possibly the first 1-2. Maybe Williams might have had a 1-2. I'm not too sure, but yeah, just happy to contribute to Racing Point for once.
Definitely. I'll hand you over, though, to Mr. Etheridge, who I'm sure is gagging to ask you a few questions.
Firstly, before any questions, I can confirm it is the first 1-2.
Oh, it is. Oh,
and it's actually the 3rd Racing Point win of the season. One of those was Guitamo last week with a warning, as a reserve driver, obviously. So unfortunately, that doesn't count towards for constructors. You said you felt like the drivers were letting you by because of your penalty when you were on the soft tyres. Did you set up your car to be slightly faster in a straight line? Because it looked like you were siving your way through the field a lot easier than the other drivers that started on the softs after the safety car.
Yeah, when we had actually raced Austria a few weeks ago in LOE, I was like playing around with setups and that, and I went actually from like 3 8-wings to like 2 6-wings, which for some people I know is like quite a drastic thing, but it actually worked kind of well. So I think 2-6 wins is like as low as you can possibly go. So yeah, just kind of set it up more for straight line. Obviously through the corners it was actually fine as well, and especially in a train, obviously you're gonna get a lot of dirty and understeer. But yeah, it was. I was thinking the whole time I was just like, okay, I know I've got a little bit of pace on the straights, but at the same time with a penalty and with how quick all the front runners are in this tier, it was kind of, I didn't really know how to feel because obviously I knew they didn't have penalties, but yeah, I think it was really important to get past everyone and to just then almost just do kind of just quali laps for like 10 laps I think it was. But yeah.
Yeah, congratulations for your win. No further questions from me, James.
I was wondering if you were going to have another question there. There was such a big pause between us there, but there we are. My final question to you, Orlando. Of course, we've got Britain next week at Silverstone. How do you think you're going to get on around there? Because if I'm not mistaken, you did quite well around there in League of Europe.
No, that was probably one of the worst ones I did in League of Europe. I was thinking I was going to have a good race, and then I qualified P20 because I set one valid lap. But yeah, in my opinion, apart from USA, it's my strongest track on the game. So I'm hoping that I can do something around there. But yeah, it's so tight between everyone. Like I think Mashiro pointed out, there was like less than a second between everyone. Which yeah, when you go to a track like Britain where it's basically flat out, it's gonna be quite a challenge, but one that I'm quite looking forward to.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how you get on, how the other drivers get on as well. Thank you, Lando. I will go and let you enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Very welcome. And that is the end then for tonight here in TTML for Division 1. Fantastic to hear from Lando. Our second race winner interview I think we've had all season, which is not too shabby at all, of course. And of course we go into Britain next week, Luke. Are we going to see the same sort of race like we did in Austria?
It's very possible. Yeah, I think it's very possible. You can always get the rain in Britain. You can always get a safety car as well. We've seen plenty of those around Silverstone. I'm expecting it to be very close. Again, I think we're going to see a lot more of those overtakes where you're really going to have to commit at Silverstone. It's such a high-speed circuit. There's not really, at the end of the DRS zones, it's not exactly heavy braking points, so it's quite a tricky circuit to overtake round. We've seen so many drivers have done fantastically well this season. Our championship leader has still yet to win a race, so we could very well get our 6th different winner.
We could indeed. It's getting more like more British touring cars rather than Formula One, I think, in terms of the amount of winners that we're having so far this season. But that's the end from us tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in to Division 1. Thank you so much to the IGK task system, of course, for taking us through all of the live telemetry. I saw quite a few of you guys using that in the YouTube comments. Thank you to Tom Zaggers, of course, our graphics man right in behind the scenes. To be waving to you now, I know. But he obviously does a fantastic job across Division 1 and Division 2. And without him, we wouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. And of course, thank you to all the drivers. Well done to Lando on the win. Thank you so much for tuning in to TTML Division 1. Please stay safe in this crazy world we all live in. For myself, James Head.
I've been Luke Etheridge.
That really didn't work, did it? Thank you so much for tuning in, though, and we will see you next time.
Baby, I never feel whole. You might get me through the night, but it will never be enough. It will never be enough. 'Cause I'm a black girl for your love. Oh no, that is what they all say when they see me pouring some more. Oh, then gets empty again. Better fill it up before I go. Cause I'm loving it, feeling it, touch me and being it. See what I see in it, I'm typical. Messing around with it, mix it up, go with it, fuck with it, flow with it, let it all go. Oh Lord, think you know what I'm like, but you don't fall, you lose control. Bittersweet melody when I dance on your floor. Cause I know what you don't, it is me you adore. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up and how sad. Oh boy, got so hot I forgot what I should have thought of before. Sure ain't easy for you to let off the rules, cause that's so much fun. Are you loving the feeling it? Push me, are you in it? Don't see what you're seeing, but typical. Messing around with it, mix it up, go with it, fuck with it, flow with it, please let it go. Oh no, think I did it again. I said a few things that I shouldn't have done. Well, bittersweet melody when I dance on your floor. Cause I know what you don't, it is me you adore. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up and how sad. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up and now come alive with me and quit the jealousy. I know you're bored, I know it's boring me. Now come alive, baby, get out the grave with me. I know you're bored. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up and how sad. How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up and how does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you out of your bed. Cut to the bone, it's broken up and how sad.
Oh darling, if I had bought you flowers, would you still be here by my side? Yeah, I thought this moment could be ours, while I'm walking only through the night. You can break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart, you should fucking stay with him. You should fucking stay with him. Darling, if I had bought you flowers, what if you stayed at home the night? Yeah, I've been lonely counting hours while I'm getting blinded by the light. You can break my can't stay with them. I can't stay with them. Break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart.
When I'm up through the night, I can't turn down the noise, tear all the worries out of my mind. About who I'm supposed to be, I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away, they were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Maybe my compass was wrong, and I'm still on my way closer each day to where I belong. I'm still rolling the dice, praying sometimes don't last it long. I'm losing my faith, I'm walking away from what you knew all along. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon.
Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, and I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. sad inside and hopeless. These Hollywood hoes never notice.